Hi guys, welcome back. Most of us know that discrimination against workers who are 40 years old and older is illegal. Age discrimination can have a magnifying effect on other types of biases, and that can drive employers to devalue workers from other protected classes even more than they already do. When I became disabled and started slowing down, that's when my boss suddenly started noticing that my retirement date was approaching. And that's when she started making comments about getting rid of me so she could get someone new in there. The supervisors who worked under her picked up on the message, and they were even worse. In one of our staff meetings, one of them compared older workers to a piece of equipment that's broken and doesn't work anymore. He said when managers get rid of a broken employee and replace them with someone who does the job better, they should get rewarded for that, not sued. NASA has a documented history of age discrimination, but in my case, EEOC found that the age-based harassment I went through wasn't pervasive or severe enough to rise to the level of being illegal. Those of you who are fighting illegal age discrimination have been through way worse than that. Employees who can establish a prima facie case for age discrimination can skip the EEOC administrative process and go directly to federal court. If that's what you intend to do, you just have to let EEOC know that. But I suggest that you talk to an employment attorney before you decide, especially if you're in the private sector. This week, I went looking for some common case law on various types of discrimination. When I was going through the process, case law became my recreational reading, so I thought being able to pass on some of the more common cases that relate to various types of discrimination might be helpful for you guys. For age discrimination, I found that a lot of that work had already been done for me by Elizabeth Dimopoulis at the Ave Maria School of Law. Her Age Discrimination in the Workplace Guide has a lot of relevant case law on age discrimination and a lot of other useful information as well. Some parts of this guide are even going to be useful for other types of cases. We'll get to that in just a little bit. Up front, I want to give you a couple of cautions about finding case law on the internet. Always be aware of the context of what you're reading. Not every case you read is going to apply to your situation. And also be aware that not every case you'll find in a guide like this is going to be current legal precedent. So you'll have to do that kind of research for yourself on the cases you want to use. Now let's get into the guide. First, let's look at the Home tab. Here you'll find information about what the law says about age discrimination and how it's evolved through the years. And you'll even find links to some pivotal cases that are responsible for those changes. This tab also covers the difference in disparate treatment, where you were treated differently based on your age, and disparate impact, where your employer's policies result in harm to all older workers. It addresses how we have to go about proving each case, and there's even a discussion of the legal defenses that are available to employers against our claims, including what they have to show in order to claim those defenses. There's a discussion of procedures and remedies that are available to workers. I found a lot of information in this part of the guide that I didn't already know, especially about the differences in the private and federal sectors. In the private sector, age discrimination cases automatically qualify for jury trials. Not so in the federal sector. And the law doesn't permit damages for pain and suffering in either sector. But in the private sector, it does allow for liquidated damages, which are double the usual damages when we can prove our employer willfully violated the law. It's got case law for that too. The Secondary Sources tab includes information on a lot of secondary sources of information about age discrimination. Statutes, books, reports, dictionaries, and articles. There's a separate tab for cases that includes a link to some low-cost sites where you can search for even more relevant case law. Those are going to be useful to all of us. Under this tab, you'll also find extensive case law references that apply to various aspects of age discrimination claims. Like, for instance, here are cases on termination of employment. Here's a case where an employee satisfied her burden of proof by demonstrating that she was replaced by a younger employee who also happened to be male. A while back, one of you guys asked me if I knew of a template that you could use to help draft your age discrimination complaint. Under the Forms tab here, I've found this template to help you draft your complaint. This template, again, is useful for more than age discrimination claims. Under the Pleadings and Practitioner Materials tab, there's even a checklist for drafting your complaint, and a sample complaint that you can also use as a guide. Another tab that's useful for everyone is the Cost-Effective Research and Other Helpful Tips tab. This links to a bunch of law libraries. If you happen to be near one of these libraries, you can actually use them as a visitor. At libraries that are owned by universities, of course, students and faculty are going to get priority. Now, I'm not going to cover all these tabs in detail. I'll leave some of these for you to look at on your own. There's some good information in them. It's just going to take a little more time than I have to spend here. If you're in the federal sector, you're going to want to check the case law in this guide against the guidelines in Management Directive 110 to verify that the cases are relevant to your process. I'll link to MD 110 in the description. Age discrimination in the workplace can seriously harm us older workers. It can hurt our mental and physical health and harm our personal and professional relationships. It can make us feel undervalued and non-relevant. It can limit advancement and earning potential, and it can compound the effects of other types of discrimination and make them even worse. At a point in our lives when most of us want to look back on our careers with pride, age discrimination can rob us of that. So while you're fighting, know that you deserve better, and let that motivate you to learn and win. I hope some of the information in this guide can help you do that. I'll see you guys in the next one. Till then, take care and hang in. Fight smart.